This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, still I was not made as a presenter. Let me go here. Cool. Okay, this is guys. Good morning. Uh, cool. Can you hear me? Can someone confirm, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so cool. Okay, this is a demo session, guys. This demo session, just I'll be explaining that. Okay, I will continue for 30 minutes and not more than that. So this demo session, I'll be covering that. What are the things we are going to cover as a full stack developer? What are things you need to learn, and what kind of applications you are going to build after learning this course? How you can what kind of experience you will gain. This is what the expectations what is the you can expect from this course. I will try to give the broader overview of the entire course. I'm going to give that here. This is Java full stack, where you will be starting the our program from the basics, like no. So how to do the dev environment setup and getting familiar with the commonly used tools, uh, in Java. If you're learning the learning the Java alone, you cannot survive in the project. Like, where we need to learn about the other things, like how the Maven works, and how to use the GitHub. Yeah, how we are going to use the Jenkins. So then, how to write the test cases. These are some of the things you need to learn that here. Like, as a full stack developer, mainly you will be focusing on the backend. Okay, backend. Then you are going to focus on the front end. Okay, front end we are going to focus on that here. Backend and the backend and the front end we are going to focus on this here. Backend and front end. So when it comes to the backend, where you are going to write this purely server side, like no, the server side APIs, you are going to write it here. So to write the APIs, so where sometimes you have to interact with the databases. Okay, you will be interacting with the databases, and now, to work with the databases, what are the skill set we need to acquire. I'll be discussing about that here. So the full stack developers are expected to know the front end and the back end, at the same time managing your applications, like how to deploy your application. If something goes wrong, how to go and look at the logs, and how to fix that issues. Like the modern technologies, everybody is going with the Docker and the Kubernetes, like having the fair understanding of the what is a Docker, what is a Kubernetes. So, DevOps side also, people will expect you to have the knowledge on that. So this program, we are going to start with the module is from the core Java. First, you will be starting with the core Java. And when you are doing the core Java, we will be learning first we are going to do the dev environment. We will be doing that here. Dev setup, we will do that here. During this setup, so where we are going to install the all the required softwares, like JDK. We need a JDK, then we require a JIT, we require a Maven. Okay, then the Maven, then we need DB tools we required here. DB tools, DB clients. Okay, DB client. So DB client is there is something called the DBviewer. DBviewer. DB, DBviewer. We are going to use it here. DBviewer is a DB client. You would be using that here. And these are the basic setup. And then there is a one IDE is required here. Okay, to work with the source code, we require a one IDE. This IDE, I'm going to use the IntelliJ IDE. I'm going to use it here. IntelliJ IDEA, we are going to use it here. We require a JDK, IntelliJ IDEA, JIT, Maven, and then we are going to take the DB client, DBviewer. These are the tools which we need to install in your machine. Once you are done with the dev setup, so then we can get started with the core Java. Okay, the moment you take the core Java, this is a place where we will be covering the basics of the core Java. Okay, let me move this here. The fundamentals of the programming, we'll learn about that, like, no, so what is the programming, how to write a simple hello world example, how we will be executing through the command line, how we are going to create a maven projects in the IntelliJ IDE. So the basic elements we will be explaining, and you are going to start from the this will start from the basics. Okay, once you learn the basics, we are going to learn about the object oriented programming. Object oriented programming, then we are going to learn about the exceptions. Then we will be learning about the collections. Okay, then threads. Okay, threads, and here we are going to learn about the reflection. Okay, reflections. Then we are going to learn about the annotations. Annotations, how to use the annotations, and working with the working with working with date, date times, date and time, how we are going to work with the date and times. These are the core concepts we would be covering, and this is the core concepts are essential for you to learn the advanced concepts. And once you learn the core Java, now if you are not clear about your career path, like, whether you should go as a Java developer or an Android developer, like, or you want to continue your career into the testing. Now you can decide here after learning the core Java, so where to land. Like, you have a three paths now. You can go and continue as a Selenium test automation side, or you can go with the Android side, or you can continue your path in the Java full stack. These are the three possible options you are having here. To learn either Android or Selenium or Java full stack, this is a mandatory. The core Java is a mandatory. So the Android, so you must have the knowledge of the core Java. So without the core Java knowledge, it would be difficult. Even Selenium developer, you must have this knowledge. Anyhow, Java full stack, obviously you must have this knowledge. And when you are learning the core Java, we will be learning not only these concepts and how to work with the external files. Like, the external files typically used is JSON and YAML and property files, Excel file. Okay, yes, 1 second, guys. Yeah. So then you are going to work with the Excel, then CSV, PDFs, how to work with these files, and how to use the third-party libraries. We will be learning in this. And during this learning phase, we will be explaining about the effective uses of the Git, how we are going to use the Git, and how we will be pushing your code to the github.com. I'll explain that about that. And another one is how are you going to build your projects by using the Maven. Okay, Maven is the build tool. How to use this Maven, how to add a dependencies, and how the Maven works, and what is the advantage of the Maven. So these all concepts will be covered in core Java. This core Java is a base for to learn the advanced concepts. And once you have a strong knowledge on the core Java, and most of your interviews also will go on the core Java. So, and collections, when I'm discussing and what are the latest version it is available, we will be installing that latest version. And Java 21 is the latest version. So as of today, Java 21, we are going to use the Java 21. We will be installing, and what are the new features has been added in Java 21. Or like, Java 8 to the 21, what are the features has been added. All the new features also we will be discussing. Okay, and every version, every 6 months, Java will release the one new version they will release. So do we need to worry about that? No, not really. So because, like, the projects which you are going to work, they may choose the one version, and each 6 months they will not go and upgrade the project. Upgrade the project. Suppose if your project is starting from the scratch, then probably they may use the most stable version. They will be using that. So as of today, the stable version is a 21. Every 6 months they are releasing the one new version they are releasing. Whenever the new version is releases, so we need to know what are the new features they have added, and whether those features are developer level or internal infrastructure level, we need to see that here. If it is a developer level and application level, you can use it, you should learn about that feature, and you are going to implement in your projects. And this is what we will be learning as a module one, like no core concepts you are going to learn that here. Once I learn these things, I can develop a standalone application. So like no, and where my data will be stored in files or maybe temporarily collections you will be storing here. Suppose if you want to store your data in durable manner, you need to know about the databases. How to use the databases, you must aware of that. Okay, how to use the databases, you must aware of that here. In this case, we are going to use the database as a service from the cloud. That is a render.com you will be using here. There is something called the render.com. This render.com is a cloud service provider where they offer the database as a service they offer. We are going to use the render.com, and there is a dviewer. Okay, there is a dviewer. Okay, we have a database tool called the dviewer. So this is a dviewer. We are going to use it for the like to connecting with the databases. We are going to use the dviewer. We are going to use it here. This is a database client. Dviewer is a database client. Whatever you have taken here, the database, I'm going to take the render.com. This is a cloud database. I'm going to take it here. This is a database. I'm going to take it from the cloud. I'm going to take it here. Okay, cloud database, I'm taking it as a service. Render.com, I'm taking the service. And in order to connect with this, in order to connect this data, in order to connect with this, we are going to use the DB client. Okay, we are going to use the DB client is a dviewer. We are going to use it here. If you look at these images, okay, dviewer, uh, save images. So we are going to save this here. Downloads. Okay, dviewer. I'm going to use it here. This dviewer dviewer is a universal database client. Okay, just I'm going to take it here. Dviewer, I want to get this here. Okay, dviewer.png. Just I'm going to add it here. Just I'll be putting here. By using this DB client, so we will be connecting with the database. We are going to talk to this database, and the render.com is going to provide the credentials for you. By using the credentials, you would be connecting with this database, and you are going to send SQL queries and what are the data result you are getting back, and you will be you will be seeing in this dviewer. We are going to see that here. Dviewer is a database client, and in order to interact with the databases, you must learn the there is a language called the SQL. Okay, this is a SQL is a the structured query language. This is from the SQL group, and this is a common language for the to interact with the databases. Like the databases also, we have a n number of databases we have in the market, and we are going to use the Postgres SQL. We are going to use it here. Postgres SQL. This is the database we will be using here. PostgreSQL is a database, relational database. It's equivalent to the MySQL or DB2 or Derby or the Oracle database. It's an open source database, and these people offers this database as a service, and we register with them, and we are using the DB client. That's a dviewer. You will be connecting, and we are going to learn the SQL, like all the DDL, DML, DQL, TCL, okay, TCL and DCL. These are the commands we are going to learn. DDL, data definition language, data manipulation, data query language, transaction control language, data control language. So each one has got the different commands it is having here. How to use that here, and in SQL, like how to write the joins and what is the index. Okay, what are the constraints? These all these things we will be discussing, and we will be learning that. Once you are done with that, like this DB client, you cannot ask your clients to go and to use the DB client and to interact with my database. Like no, from your Java application, we need to connect with the database. So the next step, what we will do here is we will develop a one application. This is your Java application. We are going to develop that here. This application is going to interact with the database. it will be interacting with the database, it is going to interact with that. Okay, this is what, like no, the interacting with the, from the Java application you are going to interact. In order to interact with that, in between we required a one interface it's required. This is a place where we are going to learn about the JDBC. We are going to learn that here. By using the JDBC, from your Java application, you are going to talk to the your PostgreSQL database. You are going to talk to that here. So this is what the next module you will be learning about that. Once you are done with that, then we are going to learn about the UI component. UI, we are going to learn that here. In UI, in order to create a web pages and to make your web pages as a responsive, or to build a single page applications, we would be using the so HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Then you are going to learn about the so Ajax. Then you will be learning about the so JSON, how we are going to learn about what is a JSON and how we are going to use the JSON. And then finally you will be learning the Angular. We are going to learn that here. These are the main things. So probably Angular we will not discuss when you are learning the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Ajax and JSON. We will learn once we are done with the server-side programming. We will go and learn about the Angular. Okay. The basic to create a basic the dynamic web pages, you must have the knowledge on the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and we may use the framework called the Bootstrap. Bootstrap, we are going to use it here. Bootstrap is a UI framework where you can create a responsive web pages we can create. Once you are done with this, then we are going to move our focus to the server side. Okay, we are going to learn about the server side programming. We are going to learn server side. Server side, we are going to learn about the servlet and JSPs. We will not spend more time on the servlets and JSPs. The reason is like now these days nobody is using the servlets and JSP. Everything is APIs. But in order to understand the how the web works and what is the server and the architecture of the MVC, how this is MVC works, and what is a session and like now how we are going to create a filters. So to get the concepts, to understand the concepts, we would be discussing about the server-side technology, servlets and JSPs. We are going to discuss. Once you are done with that, then we are going to start with our discussion enterprise framework called the Spring Framework. Spring Framework, we are going to learn that here. This Spring Framework we learn with the Spring Boot. By using the Spring Boot, we are going to learn the Spring Framework. Like in order to create a Spring Framework, so the Spring Boot will help us. Okay, Spring Framework is an opinionated framework. So by using this opinionated framework, we can create a Spring-based applications. And the main modules are here. We are going to learn about the Spring core modules, MAC, Spring JDBC, Spring JDBC, Spring Data, and then you will be learning about the security. Okay, then you are going to learn about the APIs, how we are going to develop the APIs. So then you will be the AOP. These are the core. These are the main concepts. Like now, Spring has got the multiple modules. If you name any concept, they have a module for that. Like now, the base modules are we need to learn about the core, MVC, JDBC, Spring Data, Spring Security. So how we are going to write the RESTful web services, the APIs, how we are going to write it here, AOP. These are the concepts we would be learning. And on top of that, like integration with the payment gateway, how to do that, those all these things I will be explaining in the classroom. Once you are done with that here, then we need to focus on that. Like now, during the core Java learning, one thing is I missed here. You must aware of there is a framework called the JUnit. Like now, what are the code you are going to write it here? So you need to test that your code. For that, we have to learn the JUnit, and the JUnit will be introduced once you are done with the core Java. And once you are doing the core Java, sorry, not once you are done with the core Java, when you are doing the core Java, how to write the unit test cases and how we are going to test your code, that will be introduced by using the JUnit. So JUnit is a unit to testing framework, and where you can write your unit testing you can write by using the JUnit. Okay. Then once you are done with all these things, then you are going to build that application. That application has to be it has to go through the CI/CD tools, and then it has to go to the code quality checks. How we are going to, whether your code is written a good code or bad code, code quality checks has to happen. So this is the place where you are going to learn. I'll be introducing about the Jenkins, how to use the Jenkins, what is a Docker. Then we learn about the Sonar Cube. Okay, how to use the Sonar Cube. So these are the basic elements we would be discussing here. The basic elements of how the uh, Jenkins works, and what is a Docker, and how we are going to create a Docker of the your application, Docker image of your application. What is the Sonar Cube, and there are a lot of other plugins are there, Jacko Pro plugins. Whether your test coverage is happen or not, we will be testing that here. So we will be writing the plugins. You are going to write it here. Finally, you are going to develop the application. Suppose if I'm taking this application, Java Spring Boot application I developed here. Java Spring Boot application. Java Spring Boot application you developed here. This Spring Boot application, we will be doing the packaging. We are going to do that here. Okay, or we will push this code to the GitHub. We are going to push to the GitHub. We are going to push this code. What are the application you developed? You are going to push to the GitHub. We are going to push that here. And once you push this code, and here we are going to take a render.com service. We are going to take it here, render.com. We will take a one. We are going to register the one account, and we will connect from render.com. What are the space we got it here? We will be connecting with your GitHub. You are going to connect with the GitHub, and we will take this GitHub project, and we are going to create a Docker image. We are going to convert here, and then the Docker image we are going to run it in the render.com. We are going to run that here, and once you run this Docker render.com, and it is going to give you the one domain name. Okay, it is going to give the domain name. It is going to give it here. By using the this domain name, you are making your project's APIs are, you are going to expose your APIs publicly available. By using this URL, you would be accessing the what are the APIs are available. Those APIs they are going to call, and what are the response you are serving, they would be using in their application. Same thing you will do for the UI also. UI application also you will push to the GitHub, and we will be hosting the render.com, and from there, from render.com, UI application will be running separately, server side application will be separating. We are going to decouple server side application from the UI application. Finally, you will be connecting with that. And during this process, what are the APIs are available, and how to see these APIs, and how to secure this API, these all topics will be covered here. And where we will be using, we will get familiar with the Swagger documentation, Swagger UI, how to use that here, and how to look at the logs. So then where to find the logs, and how we are going to use the logs. And then JWT, what is the JWT, how do you secure your application by using the JWT authentication token. So these topics we would be covering in this when I am discussing the Spring framework. I'll be covering the, along with these topics. These are the topics will be covered. So our the program, how it will be executed is here daily 1 hour 1 hour 15-minute session. So what are the examples I'm doing in the classroom? What are the examples I'm going to discuss in the classroom, or whatever I'm going to type in the examples? Everything end of the day it will be pushed to the GitHub. Okay, let me show you that here. Suppose today already running batches. If you look at here, we have the projects, and if you look at here, JFS Jan. If you take this here, 34 minutes ago I pushed the code, and here you can look at this. What are the core Java you can learn, and day one to day 12, day 14. What are the examples, and what are the projects you created? Everything will be there in this the source code. Suppose if you take the quiz application, how to develop this quiz application, the source code will be available at the same time. How it can be solved, and how it can be improvised. So I will be giving the explanation, and at the same time this all these things will be coded in front of you, and that code will be pushed to the GitHub repository. end of the day, you will have a recording. At the same time, you'll have the source code. You can go through the source code, and at the same time, classroom, whatever the notes I'm giving here, this will be shared with you, and you can take this as a reference. You can take it here. Okay, whatever I'm typing. So I'll be adding. I'll be sharing the link with you, so that you can have you can have the reference to this link, and recording is available. At the same time, the classroom examples, whatever we have done, everything will be given. And every day you like no you not every day, you will be asked to do the every assignment questions also. Like no, these are the body, without body I created here. These are the assignment questions where you can solve these assignment questions, no. So assignment questions with the employee. Okay, assignment question, like no, these all these things, the classroom explanation will be given, and here you are going to write the logics for that. You will be writing the logics for that. So this is the way the assignment will be assigned to you. And sometimes some of the assignments will be directly shared with you. Some of them here we will be keeping that here in a GitHub repository itself. I will be asking that here, hey, these are the questions, you solve that here. There will be like this, like each topic will have the some assignment questions. You will have it here. So suppose if I'm taking the OOPS concept, OOP, what are the things, abstract class example, then the basics of the OOPS and how we are going to use it here, what is the constructor, inheritance. Every topic you will have the topic discussion, and at the same time you'll have the source code. So this is what the way we will be executing. And to get familiar with that, how to switching the branches, and how to get familiar with the how to push the code, pull the code, these all these things also I'll be covering from the day one itself. Because once you enter into the organization, from the day one you will be working with the source code repositories. Because already you the moment you enter into the project might have been developed from the ages, and you should know how to get the clone the project, and what are the changes you made, how to create a PR, and how to incorporate the review commands, and like how we are going to update the PRs. You should aware of that. Those all the things you will start from the day one. So all the best practices we will be doing from the day one, like creating the Maven projects. We will not create any simple Java projects. We'll create a always Maven project, and getting the like if you look at here, this is a Maven project. So what is the form.xml file? How we are going to use the third-party libraries? How you will be adding the all the explanations you will be getting in the from the day one. So this is what you can expect, this Java full stack course. Okay. Does anyone has any questions or any concerns here? Any questions or any
So,
doubts? Yes, no. Somebody said something. I could not hear properly. Is this clear? You guys can make it interactive, so that if you have any questions, like no, hey, I'll be more than happy to answer. So if some of the
Yeah, how
questions,
many days it will take to complete this course?
it will take 2.5 months is a minimum, 3 months is a maximum.
Okay.
Okay. So during the weekends, we may extend the classes by from 1.5 hour, 1 hour 15 minutes to 2 hours. It may go. Yeah, that's a minimum. It's required the 2.5 months. It's a 6 day week. No. Yeah.
sir, what's the class timing?
It will be morning 6 o'clock to 7:15 or 7. So initially it will be 7, and later we'll increase that to the after first week it will go to the 7:15. Yeah, cool. This is what you can expect, guys. Like I mean, whatever. So we are going to discuss, and like the examples and what are the projects we are going to do that, which is a very close to the real time projects where which we are working. Those scenarios will be given to you. So it's not like not taking the simple student and book and like employee object. We will not do that. We'll work with the closely, the real-time applications, uh, like stripped version of the real-time projects scenarios we will be taking, and we will be discussing it as examples. Yeah. Uh, I covered whatever I wanted to explain you guys. Like if you have questions, I'll take that. Otherwise, I'm done. Manohar, Sai, Krishna, Avinash, any questions? Because I don't want to get it into the code now. There is no point in discussing the code. Like no, this is a like you when you decided to join as a Java full stack, you might be having the little background. You might have done that here. What I'm going to learn and what are the things you need to learn. So just whether am I covering the all the topics or not, you can compare that. Yeah. And another thing is I'm doing this last 16 years, guys. So don't worry about that part. So to not only cracking the interviews, like to survive on the projects, what are the information it's required, those things will be covered. Yeah. Yep. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you. So.
Thank you, sir.